Okay, fellow babies, welcome to Pachter Factor Live on SIFTD.net, and to our Patreon patrons and our YouTube subscribers, a very special welcome. You're getting this content real time. We appreciate your patronage. If you aren't a patron, or you are, please remember also to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. That's free for you. It costs nothing. Amazon pays, not you. You already paid. So deploy the money you already gave to Amazon and get them to give Shane a little bit of it by connecting those two accounts. So today's question from SIFTD is going to be a short episode. What are some of my best and worst predictions? Boy. So first of all, I have a different job now. So my old job was to help investors understand how companies earn money. So I would put together a model and I would say Nintendo's going to sell, 20 million Wiis this year, and here's the price and here's the profit and here's what Nintendo's going to earn. Whether Nintendo made a Wii HD 5 years later didn't matter at all to my prediction of earnings that year. This says I'm the number one earnings estimator in the entertainment sector in 2019. And this says I'm the number one earnings estimator in software, which means essentially all tech. So in the country, and so I'm really good at predicting earnings, but my predictions about what's going to happen 1 or 2 or 3 years in the future, I just do that for fun. It doesn't matter at all. My worst prediction ever was when Grand Theft Auto 3 was announced. And yeah, I really am that old. And I had in my model 325,000 units. So I missed by 100x. It sold 32 million, I think, the first year. And I had 325,000 in there. And the reason I had 325,000 was I said, nobody wants to shoot cops. Boy, was I wrong. So I was absolutely convinced that game would flop because nobody wanted to be the bad guy. Wrong. Didn't think the game would have a lot of appeal. Wrong. Just missed completely. Second worst prediction, World of Warcraft came out and pretty quickly had 4 million subscribers, and I said I thought it had peaked. And so I missed by, I don't know, I think they got to 14 or something. They got some ridiculous number. I did not think people wanted to play a subscription-based multiplayer game. It didn't sound fun to me at all. Wrong.
This episode of Pachter Factor is brought to you by DeShazer Ryan Realty. It's time to find out why everyone is buying homes in Montana. Right now, Doug DeShazer has a beautiful single-level home with a triple-car garage available in the best neighborhood in Libby, Montana. This custom 3-bed, 2.5-bath home has a 500-square-foot patio for entertaining. It's built to last with solid wood core doors, Anderson windows, an asphalt driveway, central AC and heat, and a private well to run its sprinkler system. The price was recently reduced, and owner financing is available with 20% down. No matter where you're looking to buy in the U.S., Doug DeShazer is licensed to help. Make him your real estate consultant at 406-291-1643. That's Doug DeShazer at 406-291-1643, or go to LibbyMontanaRealestate.com.
I remember when I first heard about multiplayer, I remember vividly saying people play video games to escape, not to socialize. Video game consumption is like movie and film consumption. If a movie and TV consumption, if you're watching a movie or a TV show and somebody's talking to you about something else, you're like, shut the fuck up, I'm trying to watch the movie. And if you're playing video games and some little troll 11-year-old is saying, you suck, old man, you're going to be like, shut the fuck up and get out of here. And so I said multiplayer had no future at all. People played games to escape. Wrong. I could not believe how wrong I was on that one. I remember seeing the iPhone having no buttons on it and saying, why would anybody buy that device? Too hard to use. And people said, no, they're going to buy it for games. And I'm like, what are you going to do with the screen? Like, swipe your finger? Like, it sounded so dumb to me. I'm like, wrong. My most notorious prediction was that Nintendo would upgrade the Wii and make an HD version called the Wii HD. They screwed up massively when they did the Wii U, and it was, in fact, an HD Wii. They just kind of confused all of you and made me look bad by adding that extra screen that didn't do anything. It was confusing, but it really was an HD Wii. So yes, I was wrong, except I wasn't. But I don't care. Like, whatever. I was convinced that Amazon would win the console wars by eliminating the console and making it an Alexa device. So now it turns out, here we are 10 years later, it never happened, and they aren't doing it. But they were, and I guessed it, and I was right. They just couldn't make it work, which is classic Amazon. I said that Microsoft would get 200 million Game Pass subscribers, and they're at 30, and they've been stuck at 30 for 3 or 4 years. So unless they change something, I'm going to be massively wrong on that one. Elder Scrolls 6, I've been saying that since 2013, and so I've been wrong 12 years in a row. I mean, Pete Hines retired 5 years after mocking me for how wrong I was on that thing. Half-Life, I think Half-Life 2 came out in 2006, and Half-Life 3's never come out. Well, I thought it would come out in 2010. I've been wrong for 15 years. I've stopped saying it, but should come out, but it can't come out if nobody's working on it. Netflix, I downgraded to sell in 2005 when they were DVD by mail, and I was right. I upgraded in 2010 to buy, and it went up a lot. And then I downgraded in 2011 when they split up the streaming and DVD business, and I thought that they would saturate the market at like 25 million households, which was about where they were in the US. And I did not think they could compete for content because they were competing with all the big movie and TV studios. And they proved me wrong. Harvard Business School wrote a case about me, about how even though I was wrong on the share price, I was absolutely spot on for every reason I said Netflix sucked. Good predictions. I was convinced that Microsoft was going to buy Activision. It would go through, and a lot of people doubted me on that. And I was spot on exactly what would happen, which is that they would not make Call of Duty exclusive. So that was right. I've always said that EA's acquisition strategy for mobile was misguided, and I've been right. I said that each console cycle would be smaller than the one prior, and I remember being called out early on in the PS5 life cycle because Sony bragged really heavily that PS5 sales were ahead of PS4 at a similar point, 1 year, whatever, 2 years in the life cycle. They're behind now, and I'm right. And trust me, Xbox Series is way behind Xbox One. So yeah, I'm right, and I'm going to continue to be right. And then, of course, Sony countered by raising the price of PS5. Dumb. I said PSVR would be a disaster. It is. I said the PSP would flop, and then I said the Vita was going to flop. And they both were really fun, but they just didn't have enough software. So those are pretty good predictions. Yeah, I've always believed that free-to-play was more like TV and was more appealing. I think that it's funny, I think the people who understand free-to-play games play them, and the people who don't. And, I have to say, because again, I obviously know a lot of people in both camps. People who don't spend money in games don't understand why anybody would. And people who do spend money in games understand exactly why people would. Just recently, there was a big short report, Grow a Garden is a fad, and the people playing it are all in Indonesia and they don't monetize, and they're all going to leave. And I was like, there are a lot in Indonesia because you can see it from the concurrent users, the timing. But I didn't think they'd monetize as well as the Western people. But what did Roblox do? They lowered all the prices for Grow a Garden in Indonesia. So those people that are playing are spending a ton of money, just at lower rates. And what did Roblox do? They grew something like 20% sequentially users and something like 19% sequentially revenue. I mean, it worked. So yeah, I defended them. I pounded the table, and the stock was under 100. And there was a short report out that said you'd make money on the short side, 40% downside, and only 10% upside. And the stock's 30% higher now. What really matters is my knowledge of the industry, just being able to talk to people and help them understand how companies make money. So write about stocks. I mean, write about Roblox. I pounded the table on Roblox in the 40s. Pounded the table. It's at 130 now. And this was less than a year ago. Thank you for joining us on Pachter Factor. We really appreciate anybody who is a Patreon patron or a YouTube subscriber. All the rest of you, plus those guys, please remember to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. It is free for you to do so. Take advantage. You've already paid Amazon. They're sitting on your money. They're earning an ungodly amount of return on your money. Have them give a little bit of that to Shane. Check out the instructions on how to do that in the show description below. Stick it to Amazon. If you haven't done it in a month, you got to do it again. So please do it right now. No excuse unless you have to go to the bathroom. Any other excuse, link those accounts now. My fellow babies, thank you for joining me on Pachter Factor. I'll see you next week. Please trust me, if Nintendo had that to do over again, it would have been called the Wii HD. They would have been much happier having a different device that was higher def and worked for a few more years to bridge that gap between the Wii and the Switch, and they would have been much, much more profitable. Remember, the Wii came out in 06, the Wii U came out in 12, and they couldn't get the Switch out till 17. They would have been very happy with the Wii HD for those 5 years instead of the Wii U. Wii U was an absolute disaster.